Let me ask you a question. Have you ever been walking, maybe across your own living room or down a familiar sidewalk, and for a split second, you just lost it? That little stumble, that momentary wobble that sends a jolt of adrenaline through your body. It might last only a second, but the feeling it leaves behind can linger for days, can't it? It plants a tiny seed of doubt, a little voice that whispers, "Be careful." And soon, you find yourself looking down at your feet more often, holding onto railings a little tighter, maybe even turning down an invitation to go for a walk on a beautiful day because the path looks a little uneven. If you've ever felt that subtle, creeping fear of falling, I want you to know you are not alone. And if you've ever told yourself, well, this is just a part of getting older, I'm here today to respectfully but firmly challenge that idea. The truth is that fear, while completely understandable, can become a bigger problem than the risk of falling itself. In fact, research has shown that the fear of falling can actually double your risk of having a fall. It creates a vicious cycle. We fear falling, so we become less active. We become less active, and our muscles and our balance system get weaker. And when we're weaker, our risk of falling increases, which just feeds the fear all over again. Today, we're going to break that cycle. Welcome. I'm so glad you've chosen to spend this time with me. We're going to have a very honest conversation about something that affects millions of us, but is too often pushed into the shadows. Our balance, our confidence, and our deep-seated desire to remain independent and in control of our own lives. You might have seen the title of this video and thought, can a 3-minute ritual really give me unshakable balance? Let's be perfectly clear, right from the start. The truth is, unshakable isn't a realistic goal for a world-class gymnast, let alone for the rest of us. Life is unpredictable. Surfaces are uneven. Our bodies change. True balance isn't about being a motionless statue. It's a dynamic, living skill. So our aim today isn't to chase an impossible marketing promise. It's to give you a simple, daily starting point to build meaningful balance. The kind of real-world, functional stability that gives you the confidence to navigate your day. From getting out of a chair to walking across a grassy park to pick up a grandchild. We will show you exactly what you can do in just 3 minutes to wake up your body's balance system every single day. But we're also going to be honest about what it takes to see lasting results, drawing on guidance from trusted institutions like Johns Hopkins Medicine and the Mayo Clinic. We'll explore why building real strength is the key to lasting stability and how to do it safely. And we'll also touch on a few critical things beyond exercise that most people overlook, but that can make all the difference in preventing a fall. This isn't a quick fix. It's a roadmap to reclaiming your confidence, one steady step at a time. And a quick but important reminder, I am not a doctor. I am a certified fitness instructor with a specialization in senior wellness. The information we're discussing today is based on established research and best practices for fall prevention, but it is for educational purposes. It's essential to consult with your own doctor or physical therapist before starting any new exercise program, especially if you have pre-existing conditions, chronic pain, or have had a recent fall. They know your personal health history and can give you the best guidance for your individual needs. So let's begin where the problem so often starts. Not with a muscle, but with an emotion. The fear itself. It's a powerful force. I remember a client of mine, a wonderful woman named Eleanor, a retired librarian who loved her garden. One afternoon, she tripped on a small, decorative stone border she had installed herself years ago. She didn't break anything, just a scraped knee and a bruised ego, but the incident shook her profoundly. A few weeks later, she told me she'd stopped going into her garden. The place that once brought her so much joy now felt like a landscape of hazards. The memory of that one stumble had rewired her perception of a space she knew like the back of her hand. This is the insidious nature of the fear of falling. It doesn't just make you cautious. It can make you a prisoner in your own home, in your own life. It shrinks your world, one no thank you at a time. The first and most crucial step in this entire journey is simply to acknowledge that this feeling is real. It is valid, and it is incredibly common. It's not a sign of weakness. It's a rational response to a perceived threat. The problem is that our brains, in an attempt to protect us, can overcorrect and put us into a state of what's called protective guarding. We stiffen up, we take shorter, shuffling steps, and we limit our movements. Ironically, as physical therapists will tell you, this stiff, guarded way of moving can actually make our balance worse and our reactions slower if a real trip occurs. So the action step here isn't an exercise. It's a mental shift. It's to say to yourself, okay, this fear is here. I see it, I feel it, but I am not going to let it be the one in the driver's seat anymore. By validating the feeling instead of fighting it, you take away its power. You turn it from a paralyzing force into simple information, a signal that it's time to take positive, proactive steps. The red flag, the time when you absolutely must talk to a professional, is if this fear has become so overwhelming that you are avoiding necessary daily activities, like bathing, cooking, or leaving the house for appointments. That's a sign that the fear has crossed a line and professional help, perhaps from a therapist or a doctor, is needed to help you reclaim your daily life. Now that we've acknowledged that this fear is real and valid, let's talk about the biggest trap many of us fall into when we try to solve it. It's a promise we see everywhere, in magazines and online ads, and it's a promise that often sets us up for disappointment. I'm talking about the myth of achieving perfect, unshakable balance. We're sold this idea that if we just do this one magic exercise or buy this one special gadget, we'll become immune to stumbles. But as we touched on earlier, this is a fundamental misunderstanding of what balance is. Think of it this way. Balance isn't a thing you have, like blue eyes or brown hair. It's a skill you do. It's a constant, active conversation happening every millisecond between your brain, your inner ears, your eyes, and the nerves in your feet and joints. Even when you're just standing still, your body is making thousands of tiny, imperceptible adjustments to keep you upright. So the goal isn't to eliminate these adjustments. It's to make them more efficient, faster, and more accurate. I had a gentleman in one of my classes, let's call him Frank, who had bought into this perfect balance idea. He was frustrated because he would practice standing on one leg, and some days he could hold it for 30 seconds, and other days he'd be wobbly after just 5. He saw this as failure. "I'm not getting any better," he'd say. I had to help him reframe his thinking. The wobbling wasn't failure. The wobbling was the work. Those wobbles were his brain and muscles practicing that conversation, learning and adapting in real time. The successful days were a result of that practice paying off. Chasing perfection is a recipe for quitting. When we set an unrealistic goal, every wobble feels like a step backward, and it's easy to get discouraged and just stop trying. The empowering action step here is to completely throw out the idea of perfect and embrace the concept of progress. Your goal isn't to be a statue. Your goal is to be a little steadier today than you were yesterday. It's to notice that maybe you can stand for 2 seconds longer or walk that uneven path with a little less anxiety. We have to be realistic. Some research does suggest that even short bursts of activity are beneficial, but for significant, measurable improvements in balance for older adults, the science points to a more effective dose. A comprehensive review often suggests something closer to 3 sessions a week for 20 to 45 minutes each that combine strength, flexibility, and specific balance exercises. So why are we talking about a 3-minute ritual? Because consistency trumps intensity every single time, especially when you're starting out. The biggest hurdle isn't the exercise, it's the habit. So, if perfect isn't the goal, what is? The goal is progress. It's about taking one small, manageable step today that you can repeat tomorrow and the day after that. This brings us to the very heart of our conversation, a simple, 3-minute daily ritual that can serve as the non-negotiable foundation for everything else. Think of this as pressing the on switch for your body's balance system each morning. It's not meant to be a full, exhausting workout. It's a wake-up call. It's a way to gently prime those communication pathways between your brain, nerves, and muscles for the day ahead. The real power of this ritual lies in its simplicity and accessibility. It's so short and so easy that there's almost no excuse to skip it. Before we begin, a crucial safety reminder. Please perform these movements next to a sturdy support, a kitchen counter, the back of a heavy sofa, or a solid, high-back chair without wheels. Wear supportive, comfortable shoes, not slippers or just socks. And most importantly, listen to your body. If you feel any sharp pain, dizziness, or excessive unsteadiness, stop immediately. The goal is to challenge yourself gently, not to push yourself into an unsafe situation. Our ritual consists of 3 one-minute exercises. Let's start with the first minute. Supported single-leg stances. Stand facing your support, with your feet hip-width apart and your hands resting lightly on the counter or chair. Gently shift your weight onto your right foot. Now slowly lift your left foot off the ground, just an inch or two. Your goal is to hold this for up to 30 seconds. It's completely fine, and in fact encouraged, to keep your fingers on the support. The idea isn't to balance without help. It's to reduce how much you rely on that help over time. You might start with all 10 fingers on the counter. Then, as you get more confident, maybe you lift one hand. Then maybe you just use 2 fingers from one hand. Notice the small muscles in your standing ankle and leg firing and working. They're waking up. After 30 seconds, gently lower your left foot and switch, shifting your weight to the left foot and lifting the right. This single exercise is incredibly powerful because it forces your body to stabilize on a smaller base of support, directly training the exact feedback system that keeps you steady when you walk. For our second minute, we'll move to heel-to-toe walks. Imagine you're walking on a tightrope. Stand with your support to one side, so you can place a hand on it for stability. Take a step forward with your right foot, but place your heel directly in front of the toes of your left foot. You should feel a little unsteady. That's normal. That's the challenge. Then, bring your left foot forward, placing its heel directly in front of your right toes. Take about 5 to 10 slow, deliberate steps forward, using the counter for support as much as you need. Then, turn around carefully and walk back. The reason this is so effective, according to experts at Johns Hopkins Medicine, is that it narrows your base of support while you're in motion, which is a much more realistic simulation of real-world balance challenges than just standing still. For our third and final minute, we'll do one of the most functional exercises of all, the sit-to-stand. This movement is something we do dozens of times a day, and maintaining the strength to do it easily is paramount for independence. Sit toward the front of a sturdy, armless chair. Place your feet flat on the floor, about hip-width apart. Cross your arms over your chest. Now, without using your hands, lean forward slightly and push through your heels to stand up to a fully upright position. Then, with control, slowly reverse the motion and sit back down. Don't just flop down. Control the descent. This builds crucial strength in your glutes and your quadriceps, the big muscles in your thighs, which are your body's primary shock absorbers and power generators. If you can't do this without using your hands at first, that is perfectly okay. Use the chair's arms or press your hands on your thighs to assist you. The goal is to gradually use less and less assistance over time. Just do as many as you can with good form in 1 minute. That's it. That's the 3-minute ritual. A single leg stance to wake up your stabilizers, a heel-to-toe walk to practice dynamic balance, and a sit-to-stand to build functional strength. Performing this every day, perhaps while the coffee is brewing or during a commercial break, builds a powerful and consistent habit that lays the groundwork for all future progress. All right, let's just take a quick pause here. We've talked about the psychology of fear, we've debunked the myth of perfection, and we've just walked through a foundational 3-minute daily ritual. We are well on our way to building a comprehensive plan for meaningful, real-world confidence. A key takeaway so far is that starting small and being consistent is far more important than trying to do too much too soon. If you're finding this conversation helpful and are feeling a little more empowered already, I would be so grateful if you took just a moment to tap that like button below. Thank you for that. Now, let's get back to it, because the 3-minute ritual is the start, but it's not the end of the story. To see those truly significant improvements, to feel that deep, lasting sense of stability when you're carrying groceries or navigating a crowded room, we need to build on that foundation. This is where we go beyond the 3 minutes and talk about building real, functional strength. Think of your balance system like a house. The 3-minute ritual is like checking the foundation and making sure the frame is solid every single day. But to make that house truly resilient against a storm, you need to reinforce the walls and anchor it deeply. In your body, those walls and anchors are your muscles, specifically the muscles in your legs, your hips, and your core. Strong muscles act like a powerful stabilizing system. They can catch you faster from a trip. They can endure longer walks without fatiguing, and they give you the raw power to get up from a low chair or climb a set of stairs with confidence. A study published in the journal Geriatrics, for instance, confirmed that strength training is a cornerstone of effective fall prevention programs. So, what does this look like? It doesn't mean you have to go to a gym and start lifting heavy barbells. You can build significant strength right in your own home. The action step here is to consider adding slightly longer, dedicated strength sessions into your week, maybe 2 or 3 times for 20 minutes. You can expand on the sit-to-stands we already did. You could also add exercises like wall push-ups to strengthen your upper body and core, or simple leg lifts while holding onto a counter to target the muscles on the sides of your hips, which are critical for side-to-side stability. The key is progressive overload, which is just a fancy way of saying making it a little harder over time. Maybe you start with 5 sit-to-stands, and next week you aim for 6. Maybe you hold a small can of soup in each hand to add a little resistance. The red flag here is feeling joint pain, not muscle fatigue. It's normal for your muscles to feel tired or a little sore after a new exercise. But sharp, stabbing pain in a joint like your knee or hip is a signal to stop and consult a professional. They can help you modify the exercise to work for your body. Building a stronger body is crucial, but even the strongest person can fall if they're not aware of other risk factors. This brings us to a vital part of our plan: empowerment through knowledge. True fall prevention is holistic. There are a few key areas beyond exercise that the Mayo Clinic and the National Institute on Aging highlight as being absolutely critical. The first is your medication. Think about it. So many of us take medications for various conditions, from blood pressure to sleep aids to allergy relief, but we don't always consider their side effects. Some medications, or even combinations of medications, can cause drowsiness, dizziness, or a drop in blood pressure when you stand up, all of which can dramatically affect your balance. A close friend of my mother, a man named George, was having terrible dizzy spells for months. He thought it was just his age. It turned out that a new blood pressure medication his doctor prescribed was working a little too well, and his pressure was dropping too low when he stood up. A simple adjustment to his dosage solved the problem completely. The action step here is to become a detective. Make a list of every single medication you take: prescriptions, over-the-counter drugs, and even supplements, and schedule a review with your doctor or pharmacist. Ask them directly, could any of these, alone or in combination, be affecting my balance or making me dizzy? The second area is your vision. Our eyes are a primary component of our balance system. They tell our brain where we are in space. As we age, changes in our vision are normal, but uncorrected problems can be a major hazard. Things like cataracts can blur vision, and glaucoma can reduce peripheral vision, meaning you might not see an obstacle at your side. And one of the most common issues is simply needing a new prescription for your glasses, especially if you have bifocals or progressive lenses. Many people find that when they look down through the reading portion of their glasses, it can distort their perception of steps and curves. The action step is simple. Get a comprehensive eye exam every single year, and when you do, talk to your optometrist about your balance concerns. They might suggest a separate pair of single-vision glasses just for walking around. Finally, let's talk about your home environment. Most falls happen at home in familiar surroundings. We get comfortable and stop paying attention. The action step is to do a safety walk through your own home as if you were seeing it for the first time. Look for what experts call fall hazards. Are there small throw rugs you could trip on? Are there electrical cords stretched across walkways? Is the pathway from your bed to the bathroom dark at night? Simple fixes can make a huge difference. Securing rugs with double-sided tape or removing them altogether, installing nightlights, adding grab bars in the shower, and cleaning up clutter. Taking control of these areas, your medications, your vision, and your home safety, is just as important as any exercise. It puts you back in the director's chair of your own life. After we've done the physical work and armed ourselves with knowledge, there's one final crucial piece of the puzzle. We have to circle all the way back to where we started: the emotion, the confidence factor. Because ultimately, the goal of all of this, the exercises, the home safety checks, the doctor's visits, isn't just to prevent a fall. It's to live a bigger, fuller, more joyful life. It's about having the confidence to say yes again. Yes to that walk in the park. Yes to playing with your grandchildren in the backyard. Yes to carrying your own groceries. Yes to living without that constant, nagging whisper of fear. Confidence isn't something you can just decide to have. It's earned. It's the natural outcome of taking action and feeling the results. It's built brick by brick, one steady step at a time. I have seen it happen over and over again. A person starts my class, timid and uncertain, holding onto the support chair with a white-knuckle grip. A few weeks later, they're using just their fingertips. A month after that, they might lift their hand off for a second or two with a small, proud smile. That smile is everything. That is the feeling of control, of self-trust, of progress. So the final action step is to be patient and kind with yourself. Celebrate the small victories. Focus on the feeling of becoming steadier, not on the fear of being unsteady. Reframe your inner monologue. Instead of thinking, I'm so wobbly today, try thinking, wow, my body is working really hard to find its balance right now. This is good practice. This journey is about reclaiming your autonomy and your peace of mind. It's about ensuring that your world stays as big and as beautiful as you want it to be. We have covered so much ground together today. We started by validating the very real fear of falling and understanding how it can hold us back. We busted the myth of unshakable balance and set a realistic, empowering goal of building meaningful confidence. We learned a simple, foundational 3-minute daily ritual to wake up our balance system every single day. We then looked beyond that, understanding the critical role of building real strength in our legs and core. And we empowered ourselves with knowledge about the other key pillars of fall prevention, reviewing our medications, checking our vision, and making our homes safer. Each one of these steps is a win. Each one is a powerful tool you now have in your toolkit to build a more stable, more confident future for yourself. The core message I hope you take away is one of power and autonomy. You are not a passive bystander to the aging process. There are so many proactive, intelligent, and effective things you can do to maintain your strength, improve your balance, and most importantly, preserve your precious independence. Now, I would love to hear from you. Community and shared experience are incredibly powerful motivators. In the comments below, please share which part of our conversation today was the biggest aha moment for you. Was it realizing how much the fear itself was affecting you? Or maybe it was the idea of doing a medication review or a home safety walk. Your insights and experiences can inspire and help someone else on this same journey. And if you've enjoyed this deep dive and want more content designed to help you age actively and with confidence, please be sure to hit that subscribe button and ring that little notification bell so you won't miss our next video. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. Be well, stay empowered, and I'll see you in the next video.